Welcome back to ABC News Live. First, the man who changed the way millions of people answer their front doors is now sharing his story. Jamie Siminoff invented doorbells with a built-in camera and eventually sold his company Ring to Amazon for $1 billion. Now he's out with a new book, Ding Dong, the untold story of how Ring went from Shark Tank reject to everyone's front door. And Jamie Siminoff is here to tell us all about it. Jamie, thanks so much for coming on. It's such a cool story. I'm so glad you're sharing it.
Thanks for having me.
So people watched you literally get rejected on Shark Tank, right? And they watched you go from that moment to becoming a staple in American homes. But you say this is the untold story. So what's the big part of the story that we don't know?
I think a lot of the untold is like how we did it, who we did it with. I mean, hiring people off of Craigslist, the sort of the hijinks and the grit that it took to bring it to where it is today. And then, you know, we almost aced this thing into the ground right before we sold to Amazon. And no one really knew that whole story of how close we came to the edge, kind of right before victory.
In the book, you talk about being too dumb to fail. What do you mean by that, and how did that mindset help you?
I think it pretty much describes it. I'm too dumb to fail. I think one of my superpowers is like that I just keep going forward. I just keep moving. I never stop. And, you know, I think that's what it takes now. I actually look at it with AI. I think this book is so important to this time because with AI, I think it's grit and determination and just pushing things forward are going to become so much more important if you want to have your American dream.
In September, Shark Tank's Robert Herjavec talked about he still thinks about passing on Ring. I want to play some of what he said.
We missed out on Ring. Remember, Ring was sold to Amazon for $1 billion. So just because you get a no on Shark Tank doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. Yeah. And we always encourage people, you know, you're always one failure away from the biggest success of your life. Mm.
So what went through your mind when you walked away from the Sharks that day? And did you ever think that that rejection was going to end up being one of the best things that's happened to you?
I definitely did not. I mean, I left there basically in tears. I needed the money. I really thought that, I mean, Robert, I was hoping would put money in. I was sure that Mark Cuban was going to put money into Ring. I'm like, they're going to love it. And just out, me out, you know, it was like, and so it was tough to walk away from there. But Shark Tank did establish us when we got on Shark Tank. The credibility and awareness that sort of gave to us was massive. So Shark Tank was a huge boost for us in the end. But I did need the money, and I wish Robert had done it.
Well, you got it.
He does too.
You got it from Amazon. You also recently rejoined Amazon to run Ring again, and you reinstated a policy to share footage with law enforcement. Why did that policy change, and how does it work?
So we don't actually share it. We give the ability for public service agencies to request footage from our Ring customers. If a customer decides they do not want to take part, they're totally anonymous and no one knows. If they obviously want to take part and help the public service agency with something that's happening, with an incident, they're able to do that. So we're just sort of allowing it to happen, to come together, but it's all anonymous and the privacy's in your control.
The nonprofit Electronic Frontier Foundation calls this a threat to civil liberties. They say law enforcement could one day use Ring cameras to find people who've had abortions or try to track down people for immigration enforcement. What's your response to that?
I think giving our customers the ability to make their neighborhood safer is what we stand for, and also protecting their privacy at the same time, which is what we're doing. That's it.
Last month, an Amazon web outage hampered Ring cameras, security systems, and lots of other systems. What are you doing to try to ensure that that doesn't happen again?
I mean, AWS, Amazon Web Services, has been an incredible platform for entrepreneurs like myself. I mean, literally millions of businesses exist today because of what they've done. It's an incredible platform, has had incredible uptime. I expect it to be flawless going forward.
We use Ring doorbell videos in news all the time. Sometimes it's people helping people or neighbors saving people. Sometimes it's evidence in a crime. What do you think Ring's biggest impact has been?
We've literally found kids that have been kidnapped. We've helped in lots of very serious crimes. We've also, some of the more touching things, like the last time if someone gets in a terrible car accident, like literally and dies, like sometimes the last footage the family has of them is leaving the front door. And so it's really from like safety and security, but it's also these like very touching things that the front door became such an important place and is such an important place, and Ring was able to capture that for kind of everything that happens there.
You talked about AI earlier. I know you're a big proponent. You recently launched an AI feature to help find lost pets using the Ring cameras. So how does Ring use AI now, and what applications do you see the potential for in the future?
Yeah, we're using it everywhere in the business, both internally to be more efficient as a company, but also things like finding pets for our neighbors. So if you lose your dog, which happens now over 1 million times in the US, that people lose a pet in their neighborhood, like the only way to find a pet before we launch this is you drive around and you yell for your dog. I mean, it's like the 1800s. Now you can load that pet, and if we find that pet, it's like, Jamie, this missing dog looks like this dog, and if you want, just like all these privacy controls, if you want to contact your neighbor, contact your neighbor. If you don't, just sit it out.
So the AI tracks where other Ring cameras have seen a dog that looks like that one?
It'll match the dog. So you'll load your dog that's missing into the system. We basically look for it with AI. And if we find it, we then tell you, hey, like this dog in front of your house looks like this dog that's missing in the neighborhood. Do you want to help your neighbor? And again, from a privacy side, if you don't want to help your neighbor, I mean, I don't know what that says about you.
Right, but you don't have to.
But you don't have to, and your privacy is 100% protected.
Jamie, I'm out of time, but what do you hope people take away from this book?
Just that, like, the American dream is still built on grit and determination. Anyone can do it. Like, I think our story is that just anyone working hard, focusing, and just grinding it out can make it.
All right, Jamie Siminoff, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Thanks for having me.